Hello, and welcome back to another Contemplative Living. We try to bring contemplative thoughts into your week so that you can live a more empowered life. Now, it was once said that once starting down the path of awakening spirit, life will never be the same. And that is so true. It's true. It's been true through the eons that once we start down that spiritual path, we begin to live authentically. We begin to bring empowerment into everything that we do, into all of our interactions. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about enlightenment. So let's get to it.
Welcome. Now creating a life of peace. This is Contemplative Living with David Bennett. Contemplations and reflections to help with spiritual living. This podcast is made possible by dharmatalks.com.
All right, so we're talking about enlightenment. And it reminds me, a few days ago, I was speaking with a dear friend, and they were saying, that they feel like they have to, in order to move forward spiritually, they have to get rid of the ego. They have to destroy the ego. And nothing can be further from the truth. You do not want to destroy the ego. You want to balance the ego. And so, we have to deal with our humanness. Humanness. Is that a word? I guess. But anyway, we have to deal with that part of ourselves. I call it the self. We have to deal with self before we can deal with spirit. And so, finding our own foolishness is a wonderful step toward wisdom. We journey through life, and it's easy, so easy to get caught up in our own beliefs and perceptions, thinking that we have found everything. We figured it all out. However, it's often moments of folly and foolishness that we truly begin to unravel the mysteries of existence. When we can laugh at ourselves and acknowledge our mistakes, that's when we're taking a giant leap towards wisdom. It's through those humbling experiences that we learn more about who we are and what matters most in life. So, knowing your inner being transforms your consciousness and begins the journey to enlightenment. When you're able to truly know yourself at a fundamental level, you open the door to transforming your consciousness. And you do it in ways you never thought possible. This process, it's not easy, and it often entails confronting our deepest fears, our insecurities, and our limiting beliefs. They will return, and they will continue to bubble up until we've dealt with them. However, by diving into the depths of our soul and shining light on these dark corners, we can begin to release them and make space for true growth and enlightened expansion. So by embracing all aspects of ourselves, both light and shadow, we can begin to cultivate a sense of wholeness that transcends the egoic desires and attachments. This newfound awareness allows us to see beyond the illusions of the material world and tap into our higher self, connecting with universal truths that guide us toward enlightenment. Now, as you begin your spiritual journey, others may not understand. They may not understand the changes in you and your world. Because as we change in all aspects of our life and in all of our interactions. And sometimes this can be confusing for some people because it may seem to them that we've done an about face in our life or something like that. And so I've found in my own experience that when starting down that spiritual path, especially after I had my profound spiritual experiences, that I would start to change because I would adapt my spiritual experiences into my everyday thinking, the way I work, the way I proceed with my decision making. And so it felt foreign to them. It felt foreign to them. But some people, excuse me, it felt foreign to them, and some people were attracted and others were repelled. But that's okay. It's all right. We have to understand that everyone is in their place, in their path, making their life choices. And sometimes we may not agree. And so to allow them to distance yourself from the ones that are not helpful or not healthy for you is fine. You know, we need to be aware of what's good for us, what helps us to grow, and to keep ourselves centered and moving forward. So once we're kissed with our spiritual potential, it draws us inward, where our heart patiently awaits merging with our divine nature. And once we're touched by our own spiritual potential, a transformation begins within us. It's as if a dormant seed had been awakened after years of slumber, because it's been ready to blossom into full glory all this time. Our inner being calls out to us. It's trying to draw us inward toward the depths of our soul where our true essence lies. As we journey deeper into ourselves, we feel the presence of our heart, and it's eagerly waiting union with our divine nature. It's a sacred merging that's been destined since the beginning of time, a reunion that brings peace and fulfillment beyond earthly pleasures. So with each step that we take on this path, we shed layers of illusions that mislead us, and we embrace the light within us. The journey may be challenging at times, but the rewards are immeasurable for finding ourselves. We find eternal love and divinity. Now, in the early stages of enlightenment, we recognize the amazing gifts we have to share and express and expand how we express love. You know, these gifts can come in many forms. Perhaps it's our ability to listen deeply, or offer words of comfort, or create beautiful works of art that touch people's hearts. As we expand how we express love, we start to radiate positivity and compassion. Compassion and being purposeful as we strive to make positive impacts on our world. You know, so it could be just a simple act of kindness or encouragement. But each small gesture has the power to create ripple effects beyond our imagination. And I saw that in my life review. Enlightenment is a deep spiritual experience in which one sees one's own nature and then adapts to live in the physical world. It's not easy. It's not easy after having a spiritual experience because those spiritual experiences feel more real than this life. This life tends to take on a quality of being dreamlike after a profound spiritual experience. And many times after a spiritual experience, you feel split from your human self, your humanness. And so you need to, come together. You need to bring that spiritual part of yourself into union with the physical world. So that's a journey. It's an incredible journey because there's so much to explore in bringing your spirituality into your everyday life and allowing yourself to be that authentic, empowered, heart-centered, and peaceful person that you are meant to be in all of your interactions. And it's amazing how life begins to then flow and to move forward with empowerment. So the enlightened are like the pillars of an ancient temple, standing on a firm foundation of love and reaching upward to hold in place the protective cover of peace and harmony. Once I was sitting at the feet of a Rinpoche, and I expressed to him how I felt like I was a pillar in a storm, and the winds were just swirling around me, and that I didn't know which direction to go or what to do. And his words have stuck with me for years and years. And his simple words were, be the pillar. Be the pillar. And not everyone can reach enlightenment, but those that do are solid. They're unwavering. They're rooted in the deep foundation of love. And just as these pillars reach unwavering, upward, just as these pillars reach upward to support that cover of peace and harmony above, so do enlightened individuals lift others up. They lift others up with wisdom and compassion in action. And like the carvings, those intricate carvings that adorn the pillars of sacred structures, the teachings and guidance of those who have reached enlightenment are elaborate. They're profound, just like that Rinpoche. It was simple and efficient, but it had deep meaning. And they shine a light on the darkness within ourselves, illuminating paths we may never have dared to tread. Those who found enlightenment serve as beacons of hope. Their presence brings serenity to even the most turbulent waters, reminding us that there is always an opportunity for growth and transformation. So, all of us on the spiritual journey are actively seeking the divine. But I'll let you in on a secret. We should also know that the divine is seeking us. That's right, it's looking for us. When we're aware that oneness has planted a flower of loving kindness in our being, we begin to understand that we're not alone, that there's always compassionate light piercing the darkness. I hope that you find that peace within you. I hope that you, especially those starting on a spiritual path, that you understand that, there'll be some challenges along the way, but there's so much reward awaiting when you start to live from your divine nature and bring it into everyday life. I hope you have a blessed week. Namaste.
Thank you for listening today to Contemplative Living with David Bennett. Please be sure to subscribe, listen, and share with your friends wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and the Podbean app. You can find the links to these on David's website, dharmatalks.com, on the Contemplative Living page. Have a blessed week.